Welcome back to Off-Label Veterinary News, your source for commentary on animals, medicine, and practice life. If this is your first time and you love veterinary content, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, Off-Label Veterinary News is also an iTunes podcast, and you can also check me out every Wednesday on the Veterinary Viewfinder podcast. Let's jump in to some of the stories you might have missed. Zomedica partners with high-tech human diagnostic company. One of my favorite veterinary companies, Zomedica, has announced it is partnering with the high-tech human diagnostic company Seraph to bring their Seraspect technology to veterinary practices. Now, if you're not familiar, Seraspect has been around for several years on the human space, and it promises to deliver in the field real-time diagnostic tests that tell you whether or not a bacterial infection is present, what type of virus like Ebola, whether or not it's resistant to certain antibiotics. This is some serious Star Trek tricorder stuff, and we're gonna have it in veterinary medicine before they get it on the human side. This is a trend we've been seeing for the past decade or more when human companies bring their diagnostics or drugs or services to the veterinary field in order to generate revenue while they await FDA approval. This technology is quite amazing. We don't know the details and particulars and even what tests they're going to bring to the veterinary market, but the fact that Zomedica has partnered with this company to do something quite spectacular is interesting to me. Now, also be aware that this is an interesting vertical integration, diagnostics with pharmaceuticals. I don't know what this means for the future. Obviously, right now, the veterinary space is a hot bed of merger and acquisition. So does this mean Zomedica is better poised to be acquired, or does it mean that Zomedica is better positioned to acquire technologies moving forward? Regardless, I am super stoked about this type of technology and the promise that it holds in our exam rooms and clinics today. What do you think, off-labelers? Have you heard about Seraspect? And what do you think about Zomedica moving into the world of diagnostics? I want to hear from you. Pathway continues to roll. In 2017, the veterinary practice consolidator PathwayVet Alliance, which has gone through a couple of different changes in branding and names and CEOs and all that sort of stuff lately. But anyway, in 2017, Pathway acquired over 100 veterinary clinics, bringing their total to about 125 nationwide. Pathway is on a speed burn to become one of the major players in consolidation. In fact, right now, they're probably about the fourth largest corporate veterinary entity in the market, which brings me to a telephone call I received from a colleague last week. He's considering selling his practice, but he was quick to point out he didn't want to sell to one of the big corporates. I think we know who you're talking about, BCA and NVA, I guess. But he wanted to look at other alternatives, and he brought up Pathway. And I said, Pathway, aren't those the people that are in Petco? He said, Petco? No, this is PathwayVet Alliance. I said, right. They're the owners of Thrive Veterinary Clinics, the ones that have partnered with Petco to put veterinary clinics in Petcos all over the country. I want you to remember this. Petco equals Pathway. Pathway equals Petco. Petco equals Pathway. Pathway equals Petco. Petco equals Pathway. Pathway equals Petco. Pathway. You get what I'm trying to say here. This world of corporate consolidators has become so interwoven and complex and complicated, we don't know who we're buying or selling or working with. So it's really important for you, if you're looking at this type of acquisition or sell or buy or whatever, kind of go that next level and don't just take the marketing hype, because not always is it on the up and up. So again, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this type of thing? I mean, I'm happy for Pathway. They're having tremendous success. I think it's probably poised them to be acquired by somebody, maybe even somebody like Petco. But regardless of all of that, what do you think about this world? And are companies being transparent enough with their messaging in the veterinary space? Or could they do a better job? I want to hear from you. Millennials misunderstand fleas and ticks. In a recent survey of over 1,300 pet owners by Merck Animal Health, It turns out that pet owners have a lot of misinformation when it comes to flea and tick prevention. Not only were pet owners confused about when they should apply flea and tick preventives, what flea and tick preventives really do and which ones work or don't work, and why they should be doing this, but we also discovered that there are some generational differences. In fact, according to this survey, older pet owners seem to understand that fleas and ticks were real if you lived in the city or the forest or wherever, and the younger millennials seem to think that fleas and ticks were more of a figment of the imagination. Something that I guess they read about in comic books or something. No, I'm sorry, I'm just joking as a Gen Xer against the millennials, but the reality is this. They haven't been exposed to the messages that previous generations have been. So this is a great opportunity for the veterinary profession to once again re-emphasize the importance of ectoparasiticides. We need to get this message out loudly and clearly, and I would argue right now that we probably need to communicate in the way that millennials prefer, which is online. So if you're a vet clinic right now, this is what I'm going to suggest to you. Get on your social media. Start ramping up your spring and summer initiatives. Write a blog post about the importance of fleas and ticks. Partner with your favorite ectoparasiticide company. But whatever you do, go online, be where they are, and try to communicate the importance of protecting dogs and cats and people against fleas and ticks and the devastating diseases that they carry. Well, that's it for another edition of Off-Label Veterinary News. If you like content like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ding the notification bell so you'll be notified as soon as content like this drops on your internet doorstep. Until next time, keep living that off-label life. Bye.